Alright, Messianic Michael back with you, and today we're going to discuss rigging rods for precision trolling. But before we get into that, I'm reminded of a scripture that says, "The horse is made ready for the day of battle, but the battle belongs to the Lord." So we're going to spend most of this video talking about preparing the rods and the equipment and which equipment to use and so on. But I want to remind everybody to pray first, because the battle belongs to the Lord, and the Lord has promised mankind that we can rule over his creation, including the birds of the air, the beasts of the field, and the fish of the sea. So we like to pray before we go fishing and ask the Lord to share his abundance of fish with us, because Jesus said, "Which of you, if his son asked for a fish, would give him a snake?" Okay, so talk a little bit about the equipment choices. We have a line counter reel, and this is a Daiwa C-Line SG27 LCA, and it's got the line counter on it. And this is an older reel, but it's been very, very durable. These things last many years. And it happens that we have most of these spooled up with 80-pound Power Pro. Now, for trolling in fresh water, when your target fish are mostly the size of a 1 or 2 pound bass up to maybe a 10 or 15 pound striped bass, you don't really need 80 pounds. When we used to rig these solely for freshwater trolling, we'd set them up with 40-pound Power Pro, but it just so happens we use these same reels down in Louisiana to fish for redfish because they're stout, strong, and handy. Now the pole here is a 6-foot long ugly stick, and it's heavy action. It's a BWC 1120 that's 6 feet long. Alright, so the stout rod is useful because we have a selection of Dipsy divers or Walker deeper divers, and this is a Walker deeper diver 107 model, and you can set it on 3R here, and it'll pull out to the right and down. So this one we've been catching a lot of fish on lately. We've been fishing late June, early July. The fish are about 20 feet down. We mark the fish on the fish finder, and there's a chart that tells us when you let out about 50 feet of line on the line counter, the lure, the Dipsy diver here, is running about 20 feet down. Okay, so this needs to come first in the line. So we take our main line here, the Power Pro, directly from the reel, and we connect it to a stout snap swivel. And this snap swivel, we buy them, they're rated from anywhere to 50 or 100 pounds. And the reason why we put snap swivels to connect the deeper divers is because a lot of times under changing conditions, you might want to switch out one size deeper diver for a bigger one to get deeper, right? In other words, the Walker 107 is a pretty good if your fish are anywhere from 15 to 25 feet down. Much deeper than 25 feet, you're going to need a bigger one, and this is a deeper diver 124. You can also get to 20 feet with this smaller one here. This is a deeper diver 82. But to get down to 20 feet with this one, you probably need to let out closer to 100 feet of line on the line counter. So in any case, we just attach the stout snap swivel with a uni knot to the main line, and always have to make sure you attach it to the front. This is the front that I'm holding it from now. So you attach it to the main line from the front. Alright, and then you put another stout snap swivel in the back. And this is handy because if you want to change out your diver size, you can do it very quickly with the 2 snap swivels. Now behind the deeper diver or the Dipsy diver, you put a leader. And an important question is, well, how do you make your leaders? How stout is the line? And how long are they? I like my leaders when I'm running behind Dipsies or maybe jet divers, whatever I'm running behind. I like the leaders to be about the same length as the fishing pole itself, because that enables you to maintain control of the fish and work the fish into the net just using the pole under most circumstances. So this is our leader material. This is a strand fluorocarbon line, 17 pounds. This is, oh, I don't know, maybe 200 yards of this stuff. We've been making leaders out of this for many, many years now. So I won't go ahead and show you all the details, but the one end of the leader goes to the snap swivel that's connected to the diving planer. Another end of the leader goes to the snap swivel that ends up connected to the lure. Now the snap swivels that connect to the lure are smaller. We like, right now we're using some Eagle Claw size 10 crane snap swivels, because we're using a lot of very light lures this time of year. And this is a Michigan Stinger spoon. That original paint job got kind of fouled up a little bit there. It just got old, and so we freshened up the paint job with a little bright orange nail polish, and it doesn't look very nice, but this lure caught 5 fish today. Striped bass, spotted bass. We even pulled in a channel catfish trolling with this lure right here. So it doesn't look very appealing, but it sure got the job done. So that is how we rig the rods for precision trolling. We happen to be trolling in July on Lake Lanier in North Georgia, but we've used these same techniques on Colorado reservoirs. We've used them on Lake Erie to catch walleye. We've used them also in North Carolina reservoirs trolling for trout. Now we have quite a selection of lures. We got a bunch of little plugs that we can trail behind. We got a whole tackle box full of different plugs and different spoons. But it's actually the Michigan Stinger spoon is the star of the show. Both on the Colorado reservoirs, we caught a lot of trout with these. In Lake Erie, most of the walleye we caught on Stinger spoons. And now in North Georgia on Lake Lanier, the Michigan Stinger spoon. Different colors, different patterns tend to work, but most of the spoons that work end up having this bright orange color somewhere in the spoon pattern is what we're catching most of the fish on. So remember to pray, get your equipment ready before you go, have fun out there, be safe. Okay, let me show you this, because once you've got the Dipsy Diver on the end of the main line and the 6-foot leader, and then the Stinger spoon or whatever else kind of lure you're using here, how do you make it safe to travel? Well, we like to let out about a foot of line from the end between the eye at the end and the Dipsy Diver, and you wrap the leader around the reel, and then you just bring the hook up and you hook it right below the first eye there, and you get the tension out of it. I don't like to store rods with a bend, but you get a little tension in there, get the slack out, and that rides pretty good. The rods ride in the boat, and then they ride around the boat on rod holders, so when they're not being used, they're not flopping around all over the place, and they're safe and the hooks are out of the way.